Now, as the Africa Energy Week enters day 2 in Cape Town, South Africa, delegates from across the continent and beyond continue to engage in crucial discussions on Africa's sustainable energy future. They're also highlighting the urgency of addressing energy poverty and accelerating the energy transition in Africa, with panel discussions exploring responsive strategies Africa can adopt to bolster its energy security and position itself as a leader in renewable energy. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokpobiri, emphasized that Africa must unite in its fight against energy poverty. And our News Central's Director of Programs, Tolulope Adeleru Balogun, joins us to give us an update on day 2 of the event. Good afternoon, Tolulope. Can you give us an overview of the ongoing Africa Energy Week so far?
It's been a really packed and interesting event. As you can see behind us, we're actually now at a technical session where a company called Movida is actually unveiling one of their products. So what we've had throughout the course of the past 2 days is companies that are part of the oil and gas sector talking about the developments they've had, the technology they've put into place, and of course trying to also show what they have available and what they are offering. So we've had that, and we're here right now in that presentation. We are able to speak to the Minister of Petroleum Resources for Oil, Heineken Lokpobiri, just about 2.5 hours ago outside one of his sessions. And it was quite interesting to hear him talk about Africa's energy poverty, and also the fact that we as a continent would not be willing to let go of the resources in the ground because the West wants to. These are the same resources that the West used to industrialize, and it is unfair. And he actually said hypocritical for the West to believe that the African continent should leave those resources in the ground. So he spoke to him about the African energy poverty gap. We also spoke, of course, about technology. We spoke about the Africa Energy Bank, and he talked about the fact that he was one of the ministers involved in making sure that the Africa Energy Bank takes off, which is under Afri-Exim. We've come from a session with him right now looking at investing in Nigeria Energies. That's a session that has a number of international oil companies. He's representing the federal government of Nigeria on that panel, and the conversation is about what the opportunities are in the Nigerian energy space, oil and gas space, even renewables as well. So that's part of what we've seen so far today.
All right, Tolu, we also understand that Nigeria's energy contributors, solution providers, have joined their counterparts in South Africa. What would you say has been the highlight for us as a country, and what's our key take-home?
I think one of the highlights also would be hearing from the OPEC General Secretary, that's the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and he spoke about the fact that there needed to be collaboration between NOCs, national oil companies. So the conversation shouldn't just be limited to IOCs, that is of course international oil companies, but also collaborations with NOCs, and an opportunity for countries to be able to collaborate with each other. Saudi Aramco, one of the, I believe, OPEC's largest producer, is also here present, and they've come, and we also have confirmation from Nigeria's minister that they've actually been in contact with Nigeria in terms of collaboration and the potential for investments as well. So looking at where collaboration can take us between NOCs and IOCs is one of the big conversations here that we're seeing. Additionally, we had the minister at one of his sessions talking about the fact that before he came here, he just signed 4 new licenses for refineries in Nigeria. So we're hearing about developments in the oil and gas sector, not just in Nigeria, but across the continent. But of course, knowing that there's collaboration on the table, there's content development on the table, there are a number of things on the table. I think probably financing is the one that that interests and also excites people the most because of the potential to help bridge the financing gap that many of us see in the oil and gas sector here on the continent.
All right, News Central's Director of Programs, Tolulope Adeleru Balogun, thank you for giving us an update from the Africa Energy Week, and we'll definitely see how that pans out.